Hey, what's going on everybody? It is time for another Fallout 4 mod bundle. So, a couple weeks ago for the top 10 energy weapons part 1, I had asked you guys to give me some suggestions for mod bundles that you wanted to see. And by an overwhelming majority, we've got the mod bundle for early game gear and weapons. And this is actually an idea that I had kind of thought of doing before, doing some early leveled list weapon types. So that's what we're doing today. So thank you Squee and everybody who upvoted that. And for the future, if you want to recommend your own mod bundles, go back to that video, at least for the time being, as that's where I'm going to be pulling from. So if you want to see something, go there, check out the comments, add your own or like ones that are already on there, and I'll be going back there to see more suggestions. However, next week is already booked. After some recent releases, we are going to be doing top 10 shotguns, so stay tuned for that one. So today, we are checking out early game weapons, specifically weapons. We may do another video for armors in the future, but when it comes to weapon mods, I came up with a lot. I came up with a total of 14, so we're going to be rapid firing through these to get through them as quickly as we can. We'll give you the name, a brief look at it, and its reload animation if it has one, and then move on to the next one because we do not have time for a deep dive for all of these. A quick note before we begin, each of these weapons must be level 10 and under. So for the weapon to be on this list, it needs to be 1, added to the leveled list, and 2, it needs to spawn in the world at level 10 or before for me to call it the early game. So all of these weapons can be found before level 10. First, we have the Remington Model 8 by TactaGhoul. This World War I style rifle is super cool and a very underrated mod in my opinion. Has a handful of attachments, is very efficient, has a pretty neat reload animation, as well as some really interesting sights. Because of the era of this weapon, the scope is actually mounted to the side, and because of that, they took the Fallout 4 red dot and mounted it to the side as well. Pretty funny idea, and I like this one a lot. Really cool rifle. Up next, we have Crossbows of the Commonwealth by TrickyVein. Now, we've talked about Crossbows of the Commonwealth before, and by far, still one of my favorite mods for a long time. Utilizes vanilla animations very well, and adds in a completely new weapon type, being the crossbow. Lots of customization, and spawns very early in the game on raiders, so this is another must-have for those early levels. This is a really cool one and very unique, so go ahead and try that one out. Up next, we got the Varmint Rifle by asXas. The Varmint Rifle is a classic rifle from Fallout New Vegas, shoots 5.56 rounds, and is a bolt action, low damage rifle, definitely intended for the early game. However, you can mod it to get some pretty decent damage, and you can even find the Rat Slayer unique version, which is really cool. But again, this is a varmint rifle designed for killing varmints. So use it while you can, because by the late game, you're gonna need something bigger. Moving on to some SMGs, we've got the Ingram Mac10 by Utherien, aka TheBigLidowski. The Ingram Mac10 is a really cool rapid-firing submachine gun or machine pistol. This thing will start spawning super early in the game and can be found just about anywhere. If you are a fan of spitting small caliber rounds as fast as you can, then this is definitely one for you, and has some really interesting customization options, along with some new skins and even some really unique animations. Keeping with the theme of submachine guns, we have the Defense Gun by YonaTaku. This is definitely one of my favorite nostalgic mods for Fallout 4. It has so many customization options, is a great replacer for the pipe rifle, which is what I use it for in my game. However, it can be found standalone as well in the leveled lists. This weapon takes inspiration from a lot of different World War II era weapons, including the Sten gun as well as the Type 38 German submachine gun. And with the attachments included in this mod, you can convert it to just about anything. And you can even turn it between pistols and submachine guns, depending on which animations you prefer. All of those change with the different stocks that are included. Really cool mod, lots of customization, and again, a great early game weapon. Up next, we have the Fallout 3 10mm submachine gun by Cypher. Now, I love this rendition of the classic Fallout style submachine gun. This thing is really, really cool, but also has a nice modern twist. So you have all of your classic attachments that you would expect with the classic Fallout style 10mm SMG, except you also have access to some new style hollow sights and even some SCAR style stocks. Pretty interesting attachments that you can do with this one. So if you're a classic Fallout fan or even someone who's into modern weapons, this is definitely a fit for just about any game. And will start spawning around level 5 in your game on Gunners and Raiders. So really cool one to have running around in the Commonwealth. Up next, we have the 10mm Compact SMG by Flarescale. This is the newest mod on this list, but a very cool one. This one feels like it fits perfectly into Fallout 4. It's a nice little compact SMG that shoots 10mm rounds, giving more use to that ammo type as there wasn't a lot in the vanilla game. This is a really neat one, super usable, just a little bit of customization, but it doesn't need much more. Because again, these are early game weapons, so you're not going to be using them much past level 10. But hey, this is a really cool one, and definitely one that you should try out. Up next, we have the Gun SMG by Deadpool2099. Another callback to a classic Fallout weapon. The Gun is a very cool, slow-firing but high-damage SMG, so definitely something different from the typical SMG profile. This is an awesome early game weapon that is often found on gunners. I seem to find it all the time during those early levels, especially when fighting gunners. It seems to be just about everything they run around with. This and the 45 auto coming up later in the video. Awesome work by Deadpool2099 and another great early game weapon. Up next, we have the first shotgun of this list. This is one that I found pretty recently, but I fell in love with it immediately. That is the MS255 Revolver shotgun by ExpoAlt. The Revolver shotgun is, well, it's a shotgun and also a revolver. I believe this uses the vanilla pipe revolver rifle animations, but they fit perfectly, and just adds a new style of shotgun to find in Fallout 4. It seems like they just covered their bases with the double barrel and the combat shotgun and left it at that, and that's just not good enough for me. So having this as a new type of shotgun to find is pretty cool, and it has a lot of really interesting attachments. This thing will start spawning pretty early on and primarily on gunners, but you can find it on some legendary raiders as well. Really cool one, definitely one you should check out if you haven't already. Up next, we have another shotgun, and that is the single shotgun by Bwones. Another throwback to classic Fallout with Fallout New Vegas. The single shotgun is a shotgun that shoots once. It uses the double barrel animations, but it works perfectly. You simply shoot, crack it open, and throw in another shell. Definitely intended for the early game, just like it was in New Vegas. This thing will start spawning pretty much right off the bat. Anywhere that you could find a double barrel, you might find this instead. This thing has a beautiful mesh and texture. I really like the engravings you can add to this thing, and it just fits perfectly, in my opinion, especially if you're going for more of a Western Desperado type vibe. Really cool one, like it a lot. Keeping in the theme of classic shotguns from Fallout New Vegas, we have the Caravan Shotgun from Deadpool2099. Similar to the single shotgun, it can be found just about anywhere you would find a double barrel from the base game, except now it is an over-under double barrel and has custom reload animations, which is super cool. Beautiful models and textures, lots of customization options. You can do just about anything that you would imagine to this double barrel shotgun. Really cool one, love it a lot, and as always, great work from Deadpool2099. Finally, moving into the pistol category, we have the Mauser Pistol by GrinnginUrchen. The Mauser Pistol, or as some may know it, the Chinese pistol from Fallout 3, now added to Fallout 4 early in the rated level lists, is a really interesting addition to Fallout 4. In the lore, this weapon was being carried by Chinese soldiers as they invaded the US, so there is no reason that this thing wouldn't be scattered around the US soil, just like it was in Fallout 3. So finding this thing in Fallout 4 makes perfect sense, and having it in that early leveled list as a nice pistol with a lot of customization options is really cool, and something different from the standard 10mm that you would find in the base game. Really cool one, and just add some more variety to your leveled lists. Keeping with that theme, we have the 45 Auto Pistol, again by Deadpool2099. This adds the 45 Auto Pistol, also known as the Colt 1911, from Fallout New Vegas' Honest Hearts DLC, and this thing is just really awesome. Lots of customization, great early game pistol, and a new option for the 45 ammo. We get that a lot with mods, but nothing in the vanilla game, so having something that you can use aside from a upgraded pipe pistol in the early game that shoots 45s is really nice. And definitely one of my favorite renditions of the 1911 for Fallout 4 modding, so this is a great one. Nice and simple, but it doesn't have to be much more than that. And finally, we have the 32 caliber pistol by TheFriedturkey and hcgxGrill. This is the 32 caliber pistol from Fallout 3 and part of the Capital Wasteland project. This is definitely an early game weapon. This thing has very little damage, shoots the new 32 caliber ammo type, which is a very, very small round, and it's a revolver, which means you have a very limited fire rate and magazine size. So definitely not something you want to be using much past level 1, but it's still really cool and has some interesting customization options that you can add to give this thing some character. So definitely an upgrade from the Fallout 3 original version of this weapon, but definitely an early game weapon nonetheless. And with that, we wrap up this video. These are just some of the really cool early game weapons that you can find in Fallout 4 modding. However, if there's any you think that I missed that should be on this list, feel free to drop those in the comments below, because anybody who's watching this video, I'm sure, is looking for more mod recommendations to add to their game. So feel free, comment away, and as always, if you enjoy any of these mods or have been using them for a while, go out there and support the mod authors. Endorse, donate, anything you can do to contribute to them or show them that you appreciate all of their hard work. It's because of them that we get to enjoy Fallout so late in its life cycle, and they work tirelessly to provide us with amazing mods. So, like I said, go out there and support them in any way that you can. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff that gets us into the algorithm and gets more mod recommendations to the people that are looking for them. So, thanks for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace!